Jackson gave me the news of a planet far away. And Colonel O'Neill will assemble a team that will try to save the day. Dr. Sam has a master plan and a science attitude. And the job for Teal, he's part of the deal with his trusty go-out. It's just a regular day, it's Stargate Command, and it might be hard to understand.
Chevron 1 encoded. Chevron 2 encoded. Chevron 3 encoded. Chevron 4 encoded. Oh no, this is gonna happen. Chevron 5 encoded. Chevron 6 encoded. Chevron 7 what? We have a stable world.
Welcome to a very special episode of 2/3 of 3 Fries Short.
1 fry short of 3 fries short.
I'm your co-fry, Sarah.
And I'm your co-fry, Wells.
And we're here to just talk some shit today.
Yep.
We've had the big sads. Like, I'll speak for myself. It sucks not podcasting. It sucks not seeing your faces and talking to you guys on like a regular basis. Christina is having a wonderful time in the UK. So we did get her blessing to be like, hey, would you be cool if we podcasted? Because we're really fucking sad and like it sucks.
Yeah.
So we thought
Glad she was okay with it.
Yeah.
I know, I big sads too. I actually have my Thought Squad Hose Depressed shirt on. But on the bottom it says, I'm not, I take my meds. So if anybody doesn't know who Thought Squad is, you should check her out. She's really awesome. But I feel better in this shirt now.
Good. So I proposed the idea. It was going to be about one topic, but it kind of morphed into like, instead of just one hot take, let's just talk about a lot of hot takes. And as a preface, this is deeply unserious. This is not going to be political. This is not going to be about hard-hitting topics. This is deeply unserious. Silly type of shit. We have some things about food, some things about the gym, some things about the social contract, which we've talked about in many instances.
Lots
And-
of things about film and TV and
Yeah.
one medical hot take I got, but
Ooh.
like not in a controversial way, just in
Yeah.
a fun hot take way.
And if
yeah.
you like some of the things that we're ragging on, this is all in good fun. And I'll be the first to say I'm a hypocrite. I've probably done some of the shit that I bitch about. Like, I love talking shit, and that's what we're gonna do today.
Well, it's a hot take. I think hot takes are hot takes because they're generally
unpopular
often
opinion.
not the popular opinion of something. So like,
Yeah.
don't feel bad if you have the popular opinion. In fact, that's a huge hot take of mine is, and I don't even know if it's a hot take, but it's like, don't be embarrassed to have the popular opinion on something.
Yeah.
We all try to be so unique about things that it's exhausting sometimes. So it's really okay. There's a reason why so many people like certain things. So don't worry about it, please.
Yeah.
I think the other thing to note for everyone out there is that Sarah and I have not seen each other's lists.
Correct. We had to keep it secret.
Yep.
Because we need the genuine reaction and the genuine like thoughts that come to the surface right away. I don't want Wells time to prepare for like my hot take about whatever PB&Js. Like this is, I need the raw reaction. So again, this is deeply unserious. We're here for laughs. Nothing makes me feel better than just like ranting some shit out and, you know, hating on some silly shit, because then it gets all those negative emotions out of the way so that I can not feel negative.
Yeah. I would also say out there to the whoever's listening, whoever's watching us live right now, we can open it up a little bit as a little bit of an AMA too. So if you have questions for us or opinions, again, we will ignore you if they are political or too charged. But please, you can drop your questions, and just like other episodes, when we get to the end of something, we'll review them a bit and see if we can answer any of them for you as well.
I think I might have one that could be considered a little mean-spirited, and I'll take that criticism, but I still think it's a good one.
I'm looking
So,
forward to it.
okay. Would you like to go first?
Sure. I will go first with one that people have heard. I don't know that there's going to be a lot of discussion about it, but I think it's appropriate in that it was kind of what spurred this episode on, which is the fact that I hate the movie Titanic.
No.
It,
Why?
it might have to do with a little internalized hatred of James Cameron himself.
Jimmy
Uh,
Cams.
that being said, I did just watch Aliens last night when Sarah told me it was on HBO Max, and I do enjoy a lot of his earlier work, the Alien series and the Terminator series
We're not talking about
specifically.
Avatar, okay?
Well, don't even get me fucking started on Avatar, y'all.
That's where he loses me.
I'm
Yeah.
being light in the Titanic hate. But Avatar is even worse. So like I'm not even touching that.
Yeah.
I just think it's really overrated. There were a lot of when it came out was one of the years that I really early in my desire to be a filmmaker, and I watched it sweep the Oscars and beat some other movies that I really thought were more deserving. And I think it was one of the first movies I could tell this movie, and now you can tell it all the time. But I think it was one of the first movies I could tell this movie won because of all the money they put into it, and not because of other reasons. And I'm not slamming on Leo and Kate and their performance or whatever, but like objectively, there were other performances that were just as good, if not better. And then like the whole best film thing is just
What
like
are some of the movies that you think missed out?
I might feel different about this movie now because I haven't watched it in so long. So if it's controversial now, I apologize, but I really, really remember really loving As Good as It Gets, which was nominated that same year. It was Jack Nicholson and Helen Hunt.
Oh, okay.
And he was a pretty terrible person in the movie, but he's got OCD, like they'll like have to repeat things. He's a
Mhm.
writer that stays in his house, and he's like forced out of his comfort zone by Helen Hunt, and like uh, there's all sorts of there's a very stereotypically gay character played by Greg Kinnear. Again, like I said, I haven't watched it with a 2024.
Might have
Like
aged
it
poorly.
might have aged poorly, but at the time I remember it was so the interplay between all the characters and everything was just different feeling from this very standard love story sort of thing that was in Titanic.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, I think there's a lot of reasons outside of if I just watched Titanic in a bubble, I might be fine with it. But I think it was me the very um, early, what has turned into an even bigger thing for me about like money shouldn't always equal best picture.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually don't watch the Oscars much anymore because now I fully know what the deal is. But when I was in high school, I didn't realize what was going on. I didn't know. I was idealistic and like, I'm gonna make these cool alt indie movies and that's what's gonna win things. And now I know that is not the case.
Yeah.
And I think Titanic is probably one of the reasons I started learning that. So I guess in some ways, I'm glad it's around.
I think there is something to be said though about the thing that has the most money winning.
Yeah.
Because that is the unfortunate truth in many aspects of life,
Yeah.
whether it's the company that has more money, the person who has more money, like the movie that has more money thrown into it, despite it maybe not being as good as other movies in
Yep.
quality. There's a lot to be said about that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think
Um,
I think you could have made a Titanic movie that would have been more deserving in my mind. I don't think Cameron's a very strong screenwriter. And I think he gets away with it in the sci-fi thriller stuff because you don't really need as much. And it's so heavy on the like visual aspect of, Alien and Aliens and all of those movies are just stunning in their how ahead of their time it felt like in the practical
those
effects.
still hold up. I'm
Yeah.
telling like the practical effects. I watched Alien and Aliens like today and yesterday, and it is stunning how much that holds up, and I attribute that mostly to the practical effects. Even the shots of the ship, I'm like, that's a model. That's 100%
Yeah.
a model because it's not some shitty CGI ship. Like,
Yeah.
you can tell, and it holds the test. Just like Jurassic Park, because they had animatronics for that, that holds up incredibly well. Like that T-Rex scene feels so fucking real and intimate, and it's because they built a whole ass T-Rex.
Yeah, they actually used some CGI in Jurassic Park 2.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park also, not Jurassic Park 2. Jurassic
yeah,
Park also. But in both the Alien movies and Jurassic Park, they were very, very smart. And all of that shit happens in the dark.
yes,
Uh, and it just it forgives so much of that. And it just puts you more in that space too because of that. Because you're like, I can't see everything that's supposed to be going on. So it kind of gives you
yeah,
that kind of panic effect too. So they were very smart in how they did those effects, whether they were practical or CGI.
yeah,
And now everything in modern CGI movies is so well lit because they're like, look at everything we can do now, and we don't need all of that all the time, you know?
it feels disingenuous, and I think I've said this before, but like with Jaws, a part of what made that so scary is that you couldn't see
Yeah,
everything. Like that
yeah,
opening scene was so scary and you didn't see the shark once.
not once.
So, and
So
that's
a lot to be
because
said about what your brain is picturing can be
yeah,
way scarier than whatever they can actually produce on screen.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else about Titanic?
That's my big one, but I wanted to get it out of the way because we were gonna talk about Titanic
Yeah, that was gonna be
specifically.
what this whole thing was gonna be
Mhm.
about, but we decided to like branch out. So I will counter yours with my hot take about Titanic, which honestly, kind of what you said earlier, it might not necessarily be a hot take because I say that Titanic is good and it deserves all the hype that it got because it really did get a lot of hype. You said the award shows and stuff. Um, and it goes back to what you were saying of like it's okay to like a popular thing.
It is.
And it was an incredibly popular movie, even though a lot of people trash talked it before it even came out of like, what? It's not gonna be popular. We all know the boat sinks. Um, like that was
Yeah.
one of the common criticisms. So like to defend my opinion, I'm going to like counter some of the criticisms that people have had. And mostly it's about the story itself. It doesn't really have anything to do about your points. I can't counter those points because I am a plebe who knows nothing about like movie making. So this is just from as someone who watches and enjoys movies. So
Sure.
like something that people say is like it's too simple of a story. Like it's very simple storytelling. Um which may link back to your criticism of like he's not as strong of a screenwriter as he
No,
is
no,
with
no,
like
no.
effects.
I think a simple story is great. I think people overcomplicate stories a lot of the time.
Yes,
Uh,
100%.
I think his dialogue is not great, honestly. I was watching Aliens last night too. It's kind of a similar thing of like, oh, I like this movie. I'm enjoying it a lot, but that dialogue was kind of unfortunate, you know?
What
So
parts?
I really got really tired of fucking Bill Paxton by
Okay,
the end of him.
but honestly, most of his shit was ad-libbed.
Yeah, well, I mean, somebody should have directed him better
Okay,
then,
that's true. Yeah.
because he also directed it, so he's,
That's
like, not off
true.
the hook either way,
Fair, fair.
you know? I'm sure Bill Paxton was like, "I got a great idea for a character, man. Let's, like"
Yeah.
oh, man, but it grated. I was, like, real glad he died when he died, you know?
See,
Uh
I found that like a little bit of comic relief, and I appreciated his character in the same way I appreciate the in Temple of Doom, the female character. I
oh,
can't
yeah, but
remember her name.
I like her annoyingness.
I
So
like
it's
it
not
because
just
it's
that
like
type of
yeah,
character, it's, like, something
how it was
specific.
played. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like those kind of characters because it's like, "Yes, bitch, like, I would be that person," or, like, I could see myself, like, I don't want someone who's, like, strong and stoic, like, I wanna see people freaking out and, like, being afraid of the bugs and shit,
But
or
you know who I think did that better in Aliens was the lieutenant guy. What's his I forget his name
Hicks?
already. No, not Hicks. Like, the guy that hit his head
Oh, okay.
like, he was like, "I've only ever done 2 drops" at the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie. Um, he was that, like, total fish out of water, and as the commander, that was really awkward, and I feel like that's a trope that's worthy of being explored where the
Yeah.
ranking officer is the one with the least experience in the field, but, yeah, I get what they were trying to do with his character.
Mhm.
I just found it incredibly annoying.
I thought it
Like
was funny. I thought it was, like, some comic relief.
no.
But that's so interesting how, like, we you
Mhm.
just see it differently. So people again critique Titanic because it's like simple, like, oh, we all know, like Rose and Jack, like there's no tension, but it's like I don't need a full blown love triangle. It's just like we need to make sure Rose gets away from the evil guy who is like cartoonishly evil. And this goes into like my thought process. Like, I don't like when television shows or movies complicate things for the sake
Mm,
of being seen as like cerebral and
mm.
ooh, like Westworld is a perfect example of that. That shit was so fucking confusing with like the interweaving timelines of like back in time and like and then you don't realize it until the end of the first season of like, oh, this entire storyline that I watched actually happened 20 years ago. It was so confusing. And it's like confusing just for the sake of being confusing or that shock value at the end of like, oh my God, my mind is blown. I'm like, yeah, my mind is blown because I don't know what the fuck just happened. Like, complicated storyline does not equal good in my mind.
No, it doesn't necessarily either. I can totally agree with you on that. That goes back to the film bros, which should be a hot take of mine too. Well, it kind of is in one of these in a little bit of a way, but like
Okay.
the film bros that love to overcomplicate things for no
No
purpose
reason.
to the
Yeah.
whatever you're trying to tell. Yeah.
The second critique is like, and I heard this a lot as a child who was going to Catholic school when this movie came out because the Catholics were having a fit. That it's not really a love story because it only happened over the course of a few days. I don't give a shit. I don't watch giant blockbuster movies for realistic depictions of love and relationships. I watch it for the drama. I watch it for the romanticization of these things. I know it's not real. I don't want it to be real. Like, I don't care that it happened over the course of 2 days.
Do
Like,
those same people not like Romeo and Juliet? Because that's how
it's
long
the
that
same
trope's been
thing.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
thing. It is exactly it's a Romeo and Juliet trope,
Yep.
100%.
Yep.
Um, and then least we forget that the widest criticism that people put on this is that Jack could have fit on the door.
It's in the comments already, but you know.
I listen, I don't know who was saying what. I don't care. I don't care. I literally don't care because the story was about Rose. And Jack is the manic pixie dream girl in this scenario that is meant his whole purpose is to propel Rose's transformation and her story arc. And it would have been dishonest if they let Jack live because the audience needs to feel the weight of the tragedy that was the sinking of the Titanic, where so many people died unnecessarily. So if he survived and they lived happily ever after, that would have no weight to it.
Yeah.
That would have meant nothing. I don't care, John, that Jack could have fit. He's texting me right now. I literally don't care. I don't care. Die mad about it. He needed to die. I don't care. And you know what? Again, I go back to this. How many women have been fridged for the purpose of fulfilling a man's story arc so he could take revenge on the people that killed his wife and child? And, like, oh, it's fine for that. But, like, one boy freezes to death and it's the end of the world. I don't care. Die mad about it. He needed to die. And
I really should have set up a zinger for this episode that just die mad about it. Just in
Yeah.
like some kind of animation. I'm sorry. I'm not on
Yeah.
my game.
I also think this kind of links back to the kind of phenomenon of hating on things that women love. Because it is a romance. And I watched a really good Lindsay Ellis video on Titanic where she does defend its merit and whether it is good or not. But just like the fact of like, is it a boy movie or is it a girl movie? Because like some of it's romantic, but then others like disaster and the ship is breaking apart and action. So like what kind of like how do you market that? So because of the heavy love story, like I feel like it's easy for people to rag on because oh it's a girl thing. Like, oh, you must like One Direction. Ew. Like that type of thing. And I'm tired of if it's one thing my haterade ass will not stand for, it's just hating on things that women love. Like let women have things.
You're speaking to someone who's thrown away gender altogether. So, which also is a big thing for me because I never have really liked the things that women typically like. And that's probably a huge part of me, that's the basis of me going, I don't really like Titanic,
Yeah.
because I did see it as first and foremost a romance. Like,
And that's
totally.
fine to be not interested in it,
Yeah.
but then to just go around and rag on people who like the thing,
Yeah,
that's not
that's not
cool.
fair. You
Yeah,
can say you don't like the thing and leave everybody alone who does like
correct.
the thing. It's fine.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah.
then my last kind of thought about like why I love it so much. I think it is a beautifully shot movie. Again, plebe eyeballs that know fuck all about movie making or anything. I think it looks wonderful. There's some CGI parts that like aged a little poorly, but I think it looks beautiful. The soundtrack was amazing. You know how I love soundtrack music, and that can really make or break a movie for me.
Mm.
So yeah, I think Titanic is great and it deserved all the hype.
I will
So,
let you have your opinion
and I
on
will let you
Titanic.
have yours because, like,
And I will not counter your points either. Not gonna do
yeah,
it. Yeah.
I
Nope.
I I can't counter yours because they're so deeply personal about like how you felt when it came out and how you felt like certain movies. And I totally agree with you though on the whole money aspect because that's really fucking sad. And there's certain things in life where, and I know you said we wouldn't get political, but like even in political candidates where it's like whoever has the most money
Oh, yeah.
wins the election for
Hollywood
the
is the
most part.
ultimate nepo industry, like,
Yeah.
ultimate, just to break in, I've had conversations with my creative partner, MJ, and all sorts of people lately. There's just like, "Oh, well, if you don't have the money to do the thing, then nobody's gonna give you the money," like,
Yeah.
you have to already have the money for people to go, "Let me give you these other millions of dollars," which is so dumb.
Yeah, and at the point
Yeah.
in James Cameron's career where he was a proven hit maker, so people were just throwing money at him.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I yeah,
I will
so
give Cameron these props to, like, round out this segment of
to
Cameron
keep
and
the film
Titanic.
bros at bay.
No, it's not even gonna keep the film bros at
Oh,
bay because my positive critique of James Cameron is that he has done so much to advance technology in both cinema and in, like, deep sea exploration. Come on, like,
he's like the expert on deep sea
yes.
submersibles and shit.
Yes. But I think to his detriment, he leans on that too much, and that's where the money and that's why Avatar, we're not even talking about Avatar.
Well, yeah, now
Um,
he's just making
but
weird shit.
but his jumps in technology are trickling down to everybody else as well. Like, I would credit him as helping advance technology within cinema as a whole, and
Yeah,
I will give him that, fully and freely give him that. But it was also like, it's my George Lucas hot take too, and I'm not even gonna go into it, but, like, George Lucas, also not a good screenwriter. Not a good
that's
screenwriter,
interesting.
but he was so integral in advancing, so much within cinema. Great story, he comes up with a good story, but then, like, fucking George, give that script to somebody else, please. Just I tried to watch. No, we're not going there. We're not going there.
All right, let's move along.
Yep, yep.
What is your next hot take?
Let me do a no, to talk about relationships. I'm gonna throw my Stargate one out.
Okay.
We did say that we would come up with a Stargate hot take since we are technically a Stargate podcast.
Yeah.
And you've heard me say it before, and I'm just gonna double down because I've said it in a sort of, oh, I kind of like way. And no, I'm just out and saying it. I am truly glad you guys are gonna hate me. I am truly, truly glad that Sam and Jack never got together explicitly on screen.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
I
I
know
agree
you
with you
do.
100%.
I know you do. This came up because I think I read some comments on Facebook even today that, like, or no. I know. I'll tell you what it was. It was the music video I made on TikTok, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
With the
to the
choir.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah.
So on on that video on TikTok, and every time we make anything about Jack and Sam, by the way, there's always the comments of, I'm truly sad they never got together. And I always go, "Oh, they did. Do you not read, like, subtext and, like,
Yeah.
you not understand? But we did not need to see that." And it
Correct.
would have ruined SG1 for me had it happened.
I agree. I
Yeah.
think there's something in um it killing the tension. It
Mhm.
would have killed the tension. It would have killed the dynamic. I like that will they, won't they dynamic.
Well, because we've seen shows where they do actually pay off and show relationships happening, and they always fall apart. It always is terrible. It's always
Unless it's
terrible.
how it ends the series, like, and then it's like, okay, cool, like, we're not going to drag this out. In Bones, I don't know if you've ever watched Bones, but it was kind of like
Yeah.
they got together, and I don't necessarily hate how it did kill a lot of the tension. And
Yeah.
it took away something that was really interesting because they had that will they, won't they. Well, okay, now that they did, where's the tension coming from? How are we going to derive the tension?
And
Um,
here's a hot take about stereotyping characters. I feel like a lot of times when that happens, it completely changes the female character.
yeah,
Like their motivation becomes something that it wasn't before. Uh I'm not gonna lie, I've seen enough Outlander to throw Outlander into this mix of that girl when you first start watching Outlander, she's like smart, she's got all this shit going for her, she knows medicine and blah blah blah. And then like as soon as they fall in love, she's just like needs saving every episode.
I had
Every
to tap
episode.
out. I couldn't keep watching it. I was
Yeah.
like, this is the. I feel like certain things are dragging out, and yeah, it was just like kind of the same.
Yeah.
I
But
don't know.
it's that I feel like the female character gets sacrificed a lot of the time when
They
they
get nerfed.
when they start yeah, they get nerfed. They do. Because mostly guys are writing these characters and they're like, "Oh, well."
She got the Goo Goo love story. Now she's just a stupid lady in the
Yeah.
background.
Now she's an idiot. Yeah. So yeah, those are many hot takes within the hot take.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy to see that everybody in our comments right now seems to be of the same opinion as us. Good
Nice.
job, everybody. I'm sure if this gets clipped out for social media, it will not be the case.
Yeah. I guess my Stargate hot take, and I've said this before, but I think it should have ended at season 8. I think seasons 9 and 10 are stupid. I don't know.
I'm
Like,
not sure that's a hot take.
do you think a lot of people?
I would
do you think that's
consider
the
I have
popular
the hot
take?
take in that I like those 2 seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it should have ended, and I have a well-known beef with TV shows that kind of overstay their welcome. Like
Mm.
Supernatural should have ended at season 5 in my opinion, and that shit went
Oh,
on for like
definitely.
10 more years. So like
Definitely.
I don't know, I just think it was such a massive tonal shift, and I might rewatch it now with different eyeballs because with the way that TV has gone now, where the cast is a lot more interchangeable and like, Grey's Anatomy, all of the people that started out in season 1 of that show are gone now and it's completely different people. So we've kind of gotten used to the revolving cast and different like people coming in and replacing. So I think if I watched it with 2024 eyeballs, I might be a little bit more accepting of it. But when it came out, I was like, this is fucking stupid. I
Well,
hate this.
I mean, we are gonna get to it eventually.
I know,
you are gonna
yeah.
have
I
to watch it.
can't.
Here's another hot take out of your hot take is that I think I like season 10 more than season 1. But season 1 had needed a lot of growth,
It was rough.
Yeah.
It was a
rough.
lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's your Stargate hot takes, y'all. So
yeah.
don't come at us for not talking about Stargate.
Give me another one. What else you got? You got a food hot take, you said? You had food hot take?
I have a food hot take. Well, I have a food hot take and then I have a food question.
Okay.
That would potentially turn into a hot take. So my food hot take, and I don't even know, this is the thing is when you think you have a hot take and it turns out to be the popular opinion, it's like, what is going on? My food hot take is Velveeta shells and cheese is actually delicious.
No, I can get on board with that. Yeah. The one that the box, the kit with like the packet of cheese.
Yeah, but it's not
yeah.
the dry cheese. It's the like
It's the sauce, yeah.
It's the sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fuck with that. I honestly, my preferred go-to is the Cracker Barrel version with like the white cheddar and it comes with like the little crumblies.
Oh, see, that's getting too fancy. That's getting too
Oh,
fancy.
it's so good. But yeah,
That's
I
next
fuck with that.
level, Sarah. You can't no.
You're true. I gotta slum it with the Velveeta.
My go-to pity party meal back in the day which makes me feel like I should probably go do that like after this, is is Velveeta shells and cheese and Oreos for dessert.
Ooh, they got the Halloween Oreos too, which don't taste any
Mm.
different, but they're much more
But
fun.
they're fun. Yeah,
They're super
exactly.
fun. Yeah.
Exactly. So I guess the hot take is don't knock the cheap food. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just need that processed cheese in your life. I also love
Processed
fancy
goodness.
cheese. Okay. I like fancy cheese too. Don't come at
Don't
me.
discriminate against the cheeses. I
I
appreciate
do.
that.
There is not a cheese that I have ever met that I have discriminated against. And in Korea, they do really weird cheese. It's
Really?
barely cheese tasting. It's kind of just creamy, gooey stuff. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. They don't do the like strong flavor stuff. Any kind of like even Velveeta's stronger flavored than Korean cheese. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. Here's my food hot take. And I think this is
Okay.
a hot take.
Okay.
I think that mint chocolate is good actually.
I do too.
Okay. I know a
I
lot
think
of
we're the only two.
I know there's going to be a lot of naysayers. And to people who say it tastes like toothpaste, I pose the question, have you actually ever brushed your fucking teeth? Because no, it doesn't. It doesn't taste like toothpaste.
it's a
And the thing
different
is,
mint.
there's
It's not the same.
there's different types of mint. You have
Mhm.
like peppermint, which is the shit that'll like put some hair on your chest. Like peppermint is
You're like,
peppermint
I can feel my lungs.
yeah, like opens up your sinuses, kind of painful. Peppermint is for when I had tuna for lunch and I don't want to stink up the office. Like that's what a peppermint is for. But you have like wintergreen, which I fucking love a wintergreen lifesaver.
Me too.
Wintergreen, spearmint. There's
Spearmint
yeah,
gum is my favorite. But yeah.
there's more than one kind of mint. And even like since Christmas is upon us in the coming months, the peppermint mocha flavor that like
Mhm.
coffee shops get in, or like you go to Wawa and like that's their flavor. That's still, I think, and I'm not a peppermint fan because I think peppermint can be too strong, but I'll fuck with the peppermint mocha
Well,
because
the mocha
it's
like
condensed.
tempers it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not as strong, but I love mint chocolate. I will eat mint chocolate ice
I love
cream.
mint chocolate.
Yeah.
You know, when I was a kid, the only alcohol that I ever consumed this sounds weird to say,
Peppermint
but
schnapps.
no, it was the green mint liqueur. It's called something, I can't remember what it's called. But my mom would let me pour some over ice cream. Like, but it was
Oh,
the green mint liqueur
yeah.
specifically. And that stuff had hardly any alcohol in it
Yeah.
anyway. But like, yeah, I as a kid, I didn't even know it had any alcohol in
Yeah.
it.
And you think like Girl Scout cookies, what's the first thing you think of? Those thin mints,
Thin
baby.
mints.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say Samoas, I'm coming for you. What a weirdo.
Nope. Thin mints.
Thin
Thin
mints.
mints.
Yeah.
No, as a
So
child, mint chocolate chip was my favorite ice cream.
yeah,
Hands
mint.
down.
Hell yeah. So I know that that's not a popular. I know I've heard a lot of people be like, "You're fucking weird. You like eating toothpaste." I'm like
Creme
you
de mint.
care-
Thank you. Creme de mint. It's in the comments. Sorry. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my food hot takes. What else do you got?
Let's see. Okay, the question that I had about food, let's like stay in that is
Okay.
What is what you would consider controversial topping on a pizza that you like?
Well, I would honestly say like pineapple. Honestly,
Oh, I love pineapple on pizza. Yeah.
I don't like, and I don't even eat meat anymore. So like, obviously, like you have some weird shit like anchovies. Never had
Yeah.
that. Never seen it. Like that's weird to me. But I put that in like the meat category. Olives are gross. I hate olives, but I don't know. Like pineapple just seems weird because is it the only like fruit? Don't tell me about tomatoes. I know tomatoes are technically a fruit.
Oh, we're
But
not going down that route. No.
okay. But it's just
I think
weird. I don't know.
I have had a pear gorgonzola pizza before, but that was like fancy. That's like a charcuterie board on a pizza, and that's
Oh,
different,
okay.
you know?
Yeah.
But pineapple, I guess, for the standard toppings, like out of the toppings you could get at like Domino's or something.
Yeah.
My current hyperfixation pizza is banana peppers and feta. It
So
sounds
what is
weird to people, but it's something about because they're pickled banana peppers, right? So they got a
yeah.
little bit of a kick to them, but they've got that vinegary, and there's something with that and the feta. It's delicious.
So
Delicious.
what is your topping that you think is the most controversial? Is it pineapple or no?
I don't think banana peppers are controversial. I think using them as the main topping is a little weird for people sometimes,
Yeah.
because it's such a weird flavor. So in Korea, every pizza comes with corn on it.
That's why.
I
That's
don't know. Doesn't matter what pizza you order. At like your standard like Korean style pizza places, every pizza comes with corn on it.
interesting.
Yep.
That's a weird topping. And
It's
all
really weird.
cultural too. Yeah, it's
It
all
doesn't taste bad. It's just like it also doesn't add anything. That's what I
right.
think it's weird about it. You're not
Yeah.
adding a ton of flavor to put like some random little corn kernels on the pizza.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think, and going back to pineapple, because it was a style of pizza called Hawaiian where it came with ham and pineapple.
Yep.
Is that, and I don't know the history behind it, but like, did that
It's not
actually
Hawaiian. I think it came from Canada or
they just
somewhere.
fucking
Yeah.
made it up?
Yeah.
Okay. So, because I know that is a style, and I'm like,
Mhm.
never, I'm like,
And
okay, I used to
if you
fuck
do
with
hot
ham.
Hawaiian, then you put jalapenos on it too, and it's also really, really good.
Yeah. But yeah,
Highly
I'm not a
recommend to everyone
pineapple,
out there.
not a pineapple girly. It's my turn.
It's your turn. Throw one out.
Here's another food hot take. I think that grape jelly is the superior jelly for a PB&J.
That's a hot take?
I don't know if it is or not.
I think people trying to fancy up PB&Js a lot these days. So maybe it is.
I'm going for
I
an
don't know.
Uncrustable. I'm picking the purple box, you know?
You're
Like
picking
I don't
not
I'm
the
picking the
strawberry.
purple.
You're picking
Yeah.
the purple.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I don't want a PB&J with any kind of red jelly, or God forbid like you get like weird and go like peach or something. I'm not,
I
no.
would
It's got to be grape.
back in the day, and it's kind of hard. You can't always because you can find apple butter, but finding apple jelly is not as easy.
Mm.
But I always liked apple jelly and peanut butter. But I was obsessed when I was a child. I was like so obsessed with apples,
Yeah,
apple
that would
juice,
be,
apple everything. You know.
yeah. I can see that being a good combo because like people eat apples with peanut butter all the time. So like
hmm
that's just a little more down the processing.
But otherwise, yeah, I would agree. Grapes superior. When I'm dieting and I'm trying to be healthier with my PB and J's, I will literally put fresh fruit on the peanut butter and eat that as a sandwich.
I bet that slaps.
It does. Try it
Yeah.
with like blueberries are a really good one for it, but I've cut grapes in half and put
I think I
grapes on the
remember,
peanut butter.
yeah, I think I remember you sending a picture of like, here's my PB&J. Like,
Yeah, it cuts out so much sugar and you still get like the fruit flavor. You get a really
yeah,
fresh, nice fruit flavor out of it.
some nice crunch too.
So there's a tip for me if you're dieting and you're craving PB&Js and you look at the jelly jar and you realize how much sugar's in that thing, or just don't look at the jelly jar and just enjoy your PB&J. Like
Yeah,
that's your other option.
that's true.
Mhm.
Uncrustables, man. I love those little, you know exactly what kind of calories you're getting in them. So
Yep.
like,
That used to be one of my go-to from the gas station when I was working on the ambulance. And you're like, I didn't bring my meal for the day. What am I going to eat? Uncrustable.
here's a pro tip too. I don't know how it is at other wholesale clubs, but at Sam's Club, you get the box of Uncrustables. They're fatter. They have more filling in them because I
Do
compare it to the
they?
grocery store ones that I get, and the calories are different. And you can tell the
That's a
Sam's Club is heavier.
We're getting into conspiracies now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But it's no, they're fatter. Get them from the wholesale club if you want a little more pep in your Uncrustable.
Nice.
So yeah, I think that ends all of my food hot takes.
Awesome. I think people are hungry in the comments. I do have
Sorry.
to tell you, I know we usually wait for comments, but Mara, I've never had PB&J.
Do you like jelly? If you don't like jelly, I totally understand it. Like, I don't want to eat a jelly donut. So, like, I can understand. Maybe you just fuck with peanut butter. I get that. Or, like, I don't know if this is a regional thing, but have you ever had a peanut butter and marshmallow sandwich?
I
Or
have. I'm
they
not a
call
huge
it
fan of that
very
fluffernutter.
sugary. Fluffernutter, correct.
Fluffernutter. I like peanut butter and honey sandwiches too.
Ooh, that
Mhm.
sounds good.
Mhm. Yep. So there's lots of peanut butter sandwichy options.
Love
out
peanut
there.
butter. Yeah. All right.
Or I'll just eat a spoon. I'll eat it by the spoonful out the jar because we're an ingredients household. So
Eat that with like some crumbly cheese.
I literally walked into the kitchen today and just took a handful out of the cheese bag and just ate it. Yep. Ingredients household.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go back if it's my turn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into literature.
Okay. Hit me with it.
I don't fucking like The Hobbit.
Christina's spidey sense is probably
Not
tingling.
not Lord of the Rings. I fuck with Lord of the Rings.
But
I
it's
did
in the
not like
same
The Hobbit.
universe. What
It
makes
is.
it different?
There's not a single goddamn female character in it.
Oh, barf. Boo. Tomato.
Yeah. They had to build them in from the Silmarillion. They had to build a whole storyline into the movies because they were probably like, oh shit, there's like no female characters. And there are hardly any in Lord of the Rings when you really think about it. It's Arwen and Eowyn. And they almost have the same name.
Galadriel. Yeah.
In the Galadriel, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Slim pickings. So
There
is
were
that
female
just the
elves
root?
that like there's no like I think it is. And I get that it was of its time, but it's more so in Lord of the Rings, I could read that book and I felt like I could relate or understand, more. And then I tried to read I read Lord of the Rings first actually, and then I tried to go back and read The Hobbit, and I was like, I'm bored out of my mind. I don't like this. And I think the reason is the female characters, but I'm not sure. It could just be that I don't like The Hobbit. And I never watched the last Hobbit movie because of that. I watched 2 and I was like, you know what? I'm good. I'm done. We're done.
That's I have nothing to say to that because I've never read Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or even seen those movies. So
Yeah.
I can say
I have also read the Silmarillion. So
yeah.
there was a guy at Dragon Con. I think I said this in a text message, but I'll just tell the story again. It was this guy that I randomly started talking to, and we were just walking around because I was waiting to go to a show or whatever. And he's like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm like, I'll take you either. I know everybody. I know Dragon Con like the back of my hand. If you ever come, let me know. I'll get you where you need to go. And I was taking him because he wanted to go to somewhere where he could take pictures of cosplay and stuff. And he walks by this booth that they were handing out. They were handing out some sort of Lord of the Rings, like some maps or something. And he took it and he was like, oh, do you want one of these? And I was like, no, not really. He's like, oh, well, do you know Lord of the Rings? Have you seen or read that much? And I was like, well, I've only read The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion. Because I was like, is this guy about to mansplain things to me?
No, yeah.
And he was like, oh, he like paused for a minute and he was like, okay, well, you've read more than I have. It's like, dude, yes, I don't, yeah. But it was so funny because he was so confident in his nerd knowledge of Lord of the Rings. And then that happened. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually hadn't read any of the books and he was basing everything off of watching the movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like that's a totally valid.
Doesn't bother me, but don't get into a I know more than you conversation.
Correct. Yeah. I'll give you this is something I just thought of, like a literature hot take. I hate Stephen King books.
Oh, that is a good one.
I can't. It's not. Listen, this kind of ties into your screenwriting thing. The stories are good. The vehicle and how he writes them, I hate it. The way he describes women is so fucking icky and gross and unnecessarily descriptive on certain things. And I don't know if you've read any of his books.
I've read I read It, and I read Pet Cemetery, I think. So like just a few. Oh, The Stand. I read The Stand.
Yeah. So I listened to The Stand at the height of the pandemic because I'm like, well, it's now or never.
Let me dump this on top of a pandemic.
Yeah, and just some of the way, again, like he describes women is icky and unnecessary. Like it's like this is weird. And I've even seen TikToks where like people are like actual things male writers have said. And I read one, I'm like, that's fucking Stephen King. I know it. And of course, like the next slide was like in The Stand or like whatever book it was from. And I'm like, I knew it. Um, Again, like the stories and the imagination behind the stories and the concepts, I think are very good and interesting. And that's why they translate so good to television and movies. Like,
Mhm.
I fuck with the Stephen King movie or miniseries. I can't read the books. I can't get past some of the weirdness and yeah, it's
There you go. That's fair.
yeah.
I agree with you. I haven't read that much Stephen King, but I would agree with you based on what I've read,
I
for sure.
haven't either, but in the books that I have tried to read of his, there was always like, ew, why is it, I don't like that type of thing. Like weirdly fat phobic shit, especially about women. Like, I don't know. It just gives me a bad vibe. And again, like translates well into movies and television.
Mhm.
When it's like adapted for screen, I think it's much better.
The
Um,
90s version of The Stand,
yeah, I love that.
really good. Yeah.
I watched the new version too, and I'm still like, but Gary Sinise isn't in it. So like,
Right.
I don't know.
Although Kathy Bates is in the 90s version, and
I
I
love
can't
Kathy
watch
Bates.
I can't watch movies with Kathy Bates in it where bad things happen to her because she reminds me of my mom.
Oh no, I love Kathy Bates.
Misery was off the table. Like I started watching it and I was like, this I can't do this. Like she's torturing that man.
The good thing about Titanic, Kathy Bates is in it.
Kathy Bates is in it. That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So
when bad things happen to her, I can't watch.
that was my quick literature hot take. I'm gonna jump in. This is kind of a gym hot take, and this might make me like seem like anti-woman. I hate
I'm
those
so excited.
I hate those fucking butt scrunch leggings. I hate them. They look
The
like you
ones
have
that
a
make you look
perma
like the
wedgie.
bubble butt
It looks like you
or
have a
the
perma wedgie. Yes. And I know it's supposed to make your butt look good, and it does, but that's not my first thought. My first thought is pick your wedgie. But I'm like, oh wait, that's the way their pants are supposed to be.
also that's like it's kind of a form over function thing and it feels like in the gym maybe that's not the right place for it because shouldn't you not feel like you have a wedgie when you're at the gym at all? You know, like
This is
I
also
feel
where
like
I'm kind of a hypocrite because I've never worn them. So it might not feel like you have a wedgie at all. They might be the most comfortable thing ever. It doesn't look like that. And I just think it looks silly, honestly.
I don't
So
like anything that makes me feel like I have a wedgie, period.
you all know
So
how I feel about underwear. So
I
like
know.
that one of the reasons why I haven't had wedgie in years. So I'm not about to put on a pair of pants that give me a perma wedgie. So yeah, that might be like one of the more mean-spirited ones, but there's another one that's probably even meaner. But yeah, that's kind of one of my little gym hot takes. I'm like, every time I see it, I'm like, that looks fucking silly.
Yeah,
And
fair.
yeah, that's that's all I got on that one.
I don't have any really good gym hot takes because other than I fucking hate the gym. Um But
Fair.
we know this, the treadmill is not my friend, at all. But even in running hot takes my biggest hot take is just like it's don't break this social contract thing. Here we go. Here's one, which is if you see a larger person out running, don't fucking give them a thumbs up. Like, just
Yeah.
don't fucking do it. It's
If you wouldn't
patronizing and it's
yeah.
awful and it's not doing what you maybe think it's doing. And what my favorite example of this was when I was training for my full marathon, right? Like up to what I trained up to trained up to 20 miles in a run before I did the 26 mile, right? And I think in my 18 miler, I'm like plodding down
Plugging
the
along, yeah.
plugging along at Mach 0 because it's long distance and I don't run fast. And somebody thumbs up me like that. And it was like, bitch, do you run this far?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
do you? Oh, yeah. People give thumbs up people like, keep going, you
Good
got it.
job.
Good job. Look at you trying to turn your life around. Don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just if you can hear my voice right now, do not do it, please.
Here, ask yourself this question. Would I do the same to a thin person? If not, then maybe
You
shut the
would
fuck up.
probably just think they were on their daily run,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I was doing,
Yeah.
and had been doing for over a year. Well, at that point, probably 2 years, that round of running,
Yeah.
So you don't know. You don't know how fit people are. You don't know how much they can run. You should not base that on body size.
No.
A lot of the long distance runners I know are not your typical waifs of human beings, because when they are, they don't have a lot of fuel in their body either, you
Yeah.
know. So it's just like bodybuilders aren't super skinny, unless you're Olympic level athlete. If
Mhm.
you're running long distances, you're probably not super skinny.
That was one thing I really appreciated about the Olympics this year was seeing all of the diversity when it came to body shapes and sizes.
Mhm.
Um, I saw so many different, especially again because like women, girls, girl. Like I was like the women's sports were so like I was like yes, Katie Ledecky. Like, but just seeing people like her or Alona Mar or Simone Biles, who's like 4'9", or these runners who are just like their bodies are like machines, and
Mhm.
even like I don't know her name, I'm sorry, but the one girl doing shot put, like
Mhm.
they all have different body shapes and types and different amounts of fat on their body, and they're fucking Olympic athletes. So
Yeah.
like you truly can't
Just don't
judge.
assume. Don't assume
Yeah.
anything. Mara does say, I wave at runners because it's a normal thing to do around here, but I can't even imagine giving a thumbs up no matter who they are. Yes, Mara, I have to wave at everybody around here because I live in the South and that's what you do. So when you pass somebody on the trail, you go, hey, and it's usually down here because I don't expend a lot of energy to wave at you. So it's usually just like, it's a
Or you
this.
do like the stereotypical like white person like
Yeah.
smile
Yeah.
thing.
That is perfectly all right. That is not the same as this like patronizing thumbs up, you got this
Good for
sort of thing.
you.
Yeah.
Like, ugh,
Yeah.
barf. Okay.
Yep.
Did you
Yep.
have because that was kind of tangential from my gym hot take. What is your next one?
I have my curveball rando one. Are you ready
Okay.
for it? That's the
Yes.
one that I have an image loaded for you.
Oh, okay.
I hate that one font that is everywhere. I call it the Live Laugh Love font. This is what I'm talking
Stop.
about.
I'm pretty sure I have things in my house with this font.
I'm sure you do. A lot of people do. It will stop me in my tracks from buying something. I might like the thing for every other reason, but if it has this font, I will not buy it.
It does give Christian family who disowned their gay son vibe, I will say.
It's like the journaling girlies on TikTok, like the bullet journal girlies have all learned how to write in that too. And
Mhm.
it's that, but it's like the variations of that. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
that
yeah.
thing. Abhor it. Like hate with a passion. And here's where we come into the like, y'all, don't get upset. It's okay. Like it's okay if you have something in your house with that. Like Sarah said, she's like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
pretty sure I do.
I
Like,
100%. Yeah.
but I absolutely fucking hate that font. And I cannot tell you why, other than maybe it reminds me of like the Southern girlies around here or something.
That's
Maybe.
fair. That's
I
fair.
don't know why. I have hated it from the moment that I saw it, and it is literally everywhere now. So it's like really hard to avoid when you're buying decor with words on it,
Yeah.
because that is like a very popular
Right
um
now it's like very fall like grateful.
yeah,
Thankful.
in that font. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
actually. Look, hold on, hold on.
Wait, can you pick that up? Can you pick that up?
This is what I call a bread box. It's for the cats to sleep in, and they look like little loaves of bread.
That's it. That's it right there.
Ah!
That's it. Absolutely hate that font.
Sorry.
There's nothing to be sorry about. This is hot takes.
I know. I just think it's funny. And I
Again,
take no
it's
offense to it.
everywhere because so many people buy it and they like it,
It's
and
the
that's
popular
great.
thing. Yeah.
It makes it harder for me to buy certain things because I'm like, oh, that's really cute. There's a lot of necklaces and words on necklaces and stuff that I'm like, that'd
Yeah.
be really cute, except it's in that font and I can't stand it. Like,
Yeah. I do like a good like serif font. Like a nice Times New Roman or like
Yep.
a Trajan Pro. Like I do
Yep.
like a nice that type of
that
thing.
font hits me worse than Comic Sans does in my brain.
That's rough. Worse than
Yeah.
Papyrus?
I don't know. It's almost close to Papyrus in certain ways, so probably not. Papyrus might be the worst, but yeah, that was my wild card one of just like, where the fuck did this come from? I don't know why I hate that font so much, y'all. I just absolutely hate it. It will kill a product for me.
Don't step into a Hobby Lobby or a Michael's because
Oh, I have, and I'm like,
yeah.
it's just like jump scares every aisle.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one that is probably a little mean-spirited, but
Okay.
as someone who I kind of like study people through social media and like I like to see like social media has gotten so many rules since the inception of it of like what is considered okay to do within the social contract, so to speak, and what is considered like tacky or whatever. And you might be familiar with this phenomenon. And this is going to be relevant to me at one point in the future. But people who constantly repost their wedding photos as a guise for celebrating something else. So, it's Mother's Day. Here's a picture of me and my mom at my wedding. It's Father's Day. Here's a picture of me and my dad from my wedding. It's Grandma's birthday. Here's a picture of me and my grandma from my birthday. My best friend's birthday. Here's a picture of me and my best friend at my wedding. You're showboating. You're taking someone else's day and you're turning it around and making it about yourself again and being like, look at how fucking good I looked at my wedding, which you probably did look good. Don't repost that shit. You get it on your anniversary and that's it. That's my viewpoint. But have you noticed
like they're
that?
marketing themselves? Yes.
Yes.
Because I've totally used that for marketing, like that kind of concept for marketing, right? Like, oh, we have a really good event with Amanda. Oh, there's this clip from that thing that we can talk about the pins, or things like that. That's a marketing thing, right? But it's weird to apply that to your personal life.
Yeah.
And yes, I have totally seen that. Totally seen it.
I know you spent a lot of money on your wedding pictures. Cool. Those are for you. And the only day that I will stomach that is your anniversary. Or like if you have it as profile picture.
How would you feel if people were just unapologetically like, yo, I'm so happy with these pictures, I want to share them again?
I'd have more respect for them.
Okay.
If they were just like, you know what I mean? But it's this weird, like they're doing it as like it's this subversive thing where it's like they're pretending they're celebrating something else
because they want to share them again.
Because as an excuse to share their wedding. The only exception I would say is like if Grandpa died and this is the last photo you have with Grandpa, fine, I'll allow it. But I see it all the fucking time. And
Sarah in the comments, don't use this to just be able to share your pictures again.
It's showboaty.
I'm sorry, Pawpaw's dead, but
no, Pawpaw being dead, perfectly fine. But like, it's like every year I see it. Like again, starting with like Mother's Day, and then Father's Day, and then their bestie's birthday, who was their bridesmaid. It's like it's your bestie's birthday, and you're making it about your fucking wedding again. Stop it. You're showboating. Again, I would have more respect for people who were just like, I was looking at my pictures and this is a really fucking good one.
And I
like,
look fucking good. Let's go. Yeah.
I'd have more respect if people were just honest about it. But it's this weird showboaty thing. So that's one of the more mean-spirited things where it's like, Sarah, why the fuck do you care? I don't know. It's just
I get it. I think I don't spend as much time on Facebook as I used to, but I feel like
where all this
that
shit
was
happens.
something that you would see on Facebook all the time.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a little more of a
Mara has a
mean-spirited one.
clarifying question too. What if it's the last updated picture with someone you don't see often? And it's their
I
birthday.
think,
Would you find a different picture?
or do a collage. If you have a collage of pictures
Ooh.
and one happens to be a wedding photo, that's a little less showboaty, but still kind of showboaty. But not as much as if it's just like the wedding
The
picture.
collage or the carousel is a perfect way to bury something that you want to like brag about a little bit, by the way,
Yeah.
y'all. I
Yeah.
mean, I've done it. It's like, look at all these pictures from the con, me and Amanda.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm no
at the
stranger.
very end.
I am no, and listen, this is where I'm a hypocrite. I'm no stranger to bragging and showboating on social media. I've done it. I will probably continue to do it at certain points. And I post shit and I'm like, am I being annoying? I don't even care. Post. Like, I don't like, but that's one thing. If anyone catches me doing that shit, take me out back and put me down like Old Yeller. Don't let me get away with that. Call me out on that if I ever do that shit.
Well, you are going to have a wedding in the future, so we
Yeah.
will hold you accountable.
Hold me
to
to
that.
it. Hold
Yeah.
me to it. I get my
Yeah.
anniversary and that's it.
Yeah, y'all just learn how to bury it in the collage or a group of pictures. It's much less annoying.
Yeah.
Be like, I
that's-
want to share this picture, but it seems like I'm bragging a lot. Let me put it at the back.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing, like, I don't know, these like unspoken rules for social media. That's kind of one of them, I feel like, where it's like, I know what you're doing.
Mhm,
And I get wanting to brag, but at least be honest.
mhm.
So that's
I
my
think
kind
it's
of like
fair.
mean spirited hot take. What's your next one?
I'll do my medical one.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is such a weird one. It's the last one on my list, and I was like, do I put it on there? Sure. I don't mind having a mammogram. That's my hot take.
Explain.
It did not bother me.
It didn't hurt.
It's this no, it did not. There was squeezing, but it's this like thing that I was kind of excited to become part of the club that I could complain with everybody else about how horrible having to get a mammogram is. And then I got one and I was like, huh, that didn't really bother me. I like what was the big to do? I get that we all have different shapes and sizes of chests,
Yeah.
but I was it kind of felt like a letdown when I was initiated into the club, but I feel like I wasn't at all. I did then end up having to have a biopsy, and that was no fun, just so
Yeah.
everyone knows. But the mammogram itself, not that big of a deal to me. And yes, it was the squeezy kind, not the new kind. It was the old, I live in the South, y'all. It was the old fashioned squeezy kind.
Where it's like two pieces of plexiglass that like mushes it together.
Yeah. The worst part is they have to make you hold on to the thing in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
That you have to hold on, and it's almost like it's like you're at school picture day, right? And they're having to like move parts of you like as they're getting everything set up. That's the worst part, but it's still not, it's not bad. And then you just hold your breath for a second, and then they come and release, and then they do the other angle of squishy, and yeah.
So would you say like a pap smear is way worse?
Oh, way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse. Way worse. Way more invasive feeling.
Correct.
It's a pap smear still doesn't hurt. But it's just like way more invasive.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable. And it's every time I go to the doctor to get a pap smear, there's always a trainee doctor there every single time. And they're like, do you mind if the like this third year medical student comes in? I'm like, I'm not gonna say no, because I believe in people getting trained correctly,
Yeah.
as somebody who's been involved in the medical field. I'm like, I'm not gonna say no, but get some more eyes down there. It's fine,
Yeah. When I was growing up, we went to Hershey Medical Center for like all of our specialists and stuff. And that's a teaching hospital. And I had horrible eczema as a kid, like all over my legs, like terrible, the worst they could, like awful. I'm surprised I don't have permanent scars. And of course, I'd go to like the specialist dermatologist, and they trot in like just a group of medical students to look at my horrible skin. And I'm like, I'm 12 years old. This is the worst possible time for this to happen to me right now. Like, as if I'm not insecure enough, people are coming in to like look at my terrible skin disease. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah. I mean, that's always, yeah. The medical student thing is rough, but
Yeah.
I mean, a mammogram, not so much. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. I'm sure that it is actually uncomfortable for people. I was not one of those people. I was like, oh, okay.
I honestly imagine it would be more uncomfortable for people who have smaller chest because they have
Mhm.
less to work with. You can't just like plop it on the
Mhm.
thing. Like,
Yeah. Mine was definitely a plop situation. So that does make it easier.
yeah,
Is the one benefit of having a larger chest, I would
yeah.
say.
Because if
But
you don't have a lot to work with, like you're getting
they're gonna pinch your,
like,
your pit area
yep,
and like, yeah, because they right in there. That's why you got to hold on to things like you're holding on to the door from the Titanic for your life. Like
never let
grasping,
go.
never let go.
All right. Here's this is definitely a hot take. I hate football and we need to make fun of it more. I hate it. I hate that it's so normalized. It's not interesting to me. It's so fucking boring. I
Mm,
can watch that shit for 45 minutes and like 3 seconds go down on the clock or whatever, like the actual game clock. It's
sure.
so boring. I hate that it's so popular. I hate that it's like so like rooted in our culture. I just hate it. And this also goes back to working at the grocery store because you would get through the gauntlet that was the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. What's the next big thing that comes? It's not, Valentine's Day kind of counts, but it's not really as big
Super
as
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd always get stuck closing that night because everyone else wanted to watch the big game. And I hate it. People would like place a bunch of special orders and always be bitching about stuff. So like I think it's deeply rooted in the customer service aspect of it, but I also just it's not interesting to me. It's so boring. It's so boring. And the people that dress up in their little sports jerseys and paint their
The
faces are the same
cosplay, the
people that
cosplayers.
make fun of the nerds for dressing up in Star Trek, like
So
you're
that
basically
happens. That happens at Dragon Con every year because in Atlanta on Labor Day weekend, it's always Dragon Con and it's always the first weekend of college football. And it's always like some big teams that come into town. And sometimes, often, these two fandoms end up in the same
collide.
hotel. And it's so fucking funny. Um, this year it was Clemson versus Georgia, which is a
Okay.
big rivalry. Clemson is the closest big college to where I live, and UGA is the team that I'm required to pull for if I pull for any team because my dad was obsessed with UGA. Anyway, so a lot of the UGA people didn't have to come in for hotels, but the Clemson people did, and they all were in. They all were in our embassy suites with us, like all of them. And I remember Tyler went back one day because Embassy Suites gives you like a happy hour. A lot of them do, so you can come back and have like 2
Nice.
free glasses of wine. And so he went back for the wine the day that Clemson got stomped, right? Like just absolutely obliterated. And all these fans are just sitting in happy hour, just like, you know what? I guess when a character dies on my favorite show, I feel that way. But still, like for you to
Yeah.
place that much into something like that. And Tyler, after 2 glasses of wine, he walked up to a group of them and he was like, "I'm sorry for you." Like walked off because we knew what had happened. Like
Yeah.
we totally you can't not know what happens around here.
Yeah.
Ours is all college football. That's the big thing in the South is college football.
Yeah.
People like the NFL too, but whatever. But as somebody who actually I'm a fan of many sports. I like watching sports. I love watching the Olympics. I love baseball. I love hockey. I like all these other sports. I also hate football.
It's the culture around it, honestly.
Mhm.
It's the amount of like it's just the only ways I was like, how do I describe this? And I just can say it's aggressively heteronormative.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
where it's like, and I think of like, I know so many women who never gave a fuck about football a day in their life, and now they're with some fucking guy, and now they all have matching jerseys, and it's game day, and it's like, you are a sellout. I don't believe that you actually like football. I believe that you were just absorbed into some crusty dude's hobby. I hope he does the same for you, and you go to fucking Sephora and Ulta when a new eyeshadow palette comes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, also just that it brings out the worst in people. Like, it's proven, it's fucking proven that domestic violence rates go up and coincide with football season, which
Yeah.
is horribly grim. Um, and I also, tying it back into like the social media contracts of stuff, do not fucking live tweet a football game and just be like, that call was crazy. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not watching it. Stop. It's
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Agreed. Did we just uncover the actual most toxic fandom? I think we did.
Oh yeah. I think so. Sports
Star
ball.
Wars is out. Sports ball is in.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I'm so glad I don't have to pretend to like football for Adam. Thank God.
Well, that's the thing too. In a relationship, I know we were not supposed to be serious, but this is like real talk. You can respect what your partner enjoys,
Oh yeah.
and you shouldn't have to pretend that you like it. You know,
Correct.
if
You
you don't like it, it should be safe for you to say, you enjoy that. I'm happy that you enjoy that. I'm not going to enjoy it, so
Yeah.
I'll do something else while you're doing that.
It's okay to have your own thing. You don't just like amalgamate into one weird fucking form when you're in a relationship. You are still
Yeah.
an individual. So like, Adam loves anime. I'm not interested in. I'm just truly like, maybe I didn't give it a good enough of a chance. I
I would argue that which anime too. There might be some that you would
There's
like
a
more so
yeah,
than
and I don't
others.
even know, like, honestly, what animes he watches, but that's his thing. Like, he can have that thing, and I'll go watch Homicide Hunter with Lieutenant Joe Kenda, and like, we have our own thing. And then like, we'll sit and watch Aliens together. Like, we can still enjoy things together, but then we have our own things, and that's perfectly fine. And if I had to be, and I was in a relationship with someone who I pretended to like things for the sake of the relationship, and it was terrible. And the thing that I was pretending to like was camping, and it was awful and miserable, and I'm surprised I didn't end up dead, because he didn't know what he was doing on the Appalachian Trail of all places.
I like that he's like it's not only did he like say he liked it, but also was incompetent at it. That's really funny too.
It was so
Like, you're not
miserable.
even good at it. You just like
No.
you like the concept of the idea of camping, but you're not like going to put the work in to get good at something
I was
at
making
that,
sure I dropped a pin at where we parked, so that, like, God forbid we get fucking
Yeah.
lost, because he was
Yeah.
like, "We're gonna go off the trail," and it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, like, he thought he was Bear Grylls Survivor Man shit. Like, it was not fun. It was not enjoyable. I know camping can be fun, but like, this was bare bones, like, barely having anything with us type of camping. And
Nah.
he like guilt tripped me and was like, "This is important to me, and if you care about this relationship, you'll take it seriously." But then he never gave a fuck about my interests and what I like to do, and tried to um like take part in my hobbies. It was all this one-sided thing. And again,
Yeah.
like, I feel like, not to get all serious and stuff, like, I know we said we wouldn't, but like, I feel like a lot of people just think a relationship is absorbing somebody into your life instead of coexisting together as two separate
Yeah.
people.
Or they'll go out of their way to sacrifice too much of themselves
Yeah.
in trying to pretend to like things for this other person. And if you're trying that hard, it's not the right kind of relationship.
I'm not
Like,
pretending to like anything for anyone anymore. Like,
yeah.
I'm not
Me
interested in
either.
doing that.
Yep.
And listen, you can still find that person. You don't have to sacrifice yourself or
Nope.
parts of who you are or pretend to like things. So, thankfully, this football season, I will not be pretending to like football for some fucking dude.
There you go. I love it. I will still probably have to watch it at the upcoming seasonal family functions because that's what is always on the television.
Thoughts and prayers, friends. Thoughts and prayers.
Thanksgiving in my family household involves a lot of a lot of football watching. And it's like most of the time it's not even your team. Like why are we having to watch all of this? It's like I get it if you're all Georgia people and we're watching the Georgia game, right? I
Right.
understand that. But like why are we watching this random other game? I don't care. I just don't care.
And for some, for some
Oh,
more
go ahead.
context, I live near Philadelphia, which the Philadelphia Eagles have some of the most notoriously horrible fans. Like,
Mhm.
they destroy the city when the Eagles win. Like,
Mhm.
it's so toxic to me. Parts of that culture, it's so toxic. It brings out, like I said, it brings out the worst in people. I hate that it's just talk about don't shove it in my face. That's shoved in my face every year. I can't escape it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't enjoy it. Like, yeah, that's what I don't understand. People who are like, a gay person existing is shoving it in my face. But then, like, I go to the grocery store, Super Bowl XLV or whatever the fuck number it
Right.
is.
Right.
Every ad on YouTube, sports ball game, Super Bowl, the Chiefs versus
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Like, I don't care.
Also, anything that anybody thinks is getting shoved in their face is being done so for money, by the way.
Mhm.
Like Stephanie Chakowski, who was on the companion, she's coming on again. We're trying to work up a breast cancer like month event in October with her. She just put a video up that I like reposted and shared on TikTok about the pink washing of
Yes.
October for breast cancer awareness month. And it's all these companies that pretend to give a shit
It's like
because
rainbow
they just
washing.
want your money. It's rainbow washing. It's
Mhm.
everything that's the Super Bowl is just also for money. So like no like a lot of these people are not the actual people that are trying to shove it down your throat, except for maybe football fans. They do try to. But
Insufferable.
my point is understand that it's all for capitalism and for money anyway. Yeah. The pride
Speaking
thing as it is, the rainbow washing of things is at this point something that most of us in the LGBTQ community don't give a shit about like at
Yeah.
all and
Really
see it
pisses
very
off
much as
some
like a money thing. Yeah.
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 Back to the breast cancer thing that like unearthed a memory. Remember when
Ooh.
it was all like save the tatas, I heart boobies. Like at the time it was like, oh, this is funny and cute and like boobs everywhere. But it aged so badly where it's like, there's a person attached to that pair of tits you're trying to save so badly.
Mhm.
Like it got so icky where it's like save the save the person, not the
Save the
boobs.
person. I mean, I've seen people who identify as women who've had to get double mastectomies and people are calling them trans and because they don't actually bother to
Like get the
like
reconstructive surgery and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the people that do it are not paying attention to anyone's why for anything. Everybody has a different reason for it. So
Yeah.
yeah, save the but I am fairly certain that I have within the last few years seen a pink Save the Tata shirt in that font that I hate.
Double crime.
Welcome to South Carolina.
Yeah. I hate that. It's like they're sexualizing it in a way that it doesn't need to be, and it's icky and
Yeah.
gross. And how about we save the person and
Yeah.
not the pair of boobs? Like,
Yeah.
don't
The
even get me
boobs can
started.
actually go if they need to. It's fine,
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the world will move on.
Correct. Do we
I
want to
think
do like one final round of hot takes?
I
'Cause
had
we're
one
coming up.
more. I don't know if this was a hot take necessarily or just like a rant. I hate that everything's turning into subscriptions now. I'm tired of it. I've had
Oh.
it. My Fitness Pal started this downward spiral for me when they wanted to start
Uh-huh.
charging people to barcode scan. And now, before, like in the olden times, apps were either free or you bought the app, right? And then you owned the app and were able to use it. Now it's either the app is free or it's like a subscription to the app where you have to pay so often to keep using it. And I
I'll
know people are
I'll
going to
take you
say,
one step further. hold on. I'll take you one step further. I think it should be illegal to advertise the app as free and require in-app purchases if the in-app purchase is the thing that is required to use the app.
Yeah. Agree. I agree. It's getting ridiculous. It's like tipping culture that's completely out of control where it's like if I have to stand up to order, I'm not tipping. Sorry. I'm sorry. Like tipping is for a sit down table service where a server comes to take your order and bring your food out. I'm not tipping at a Subway where I have to stand and tell you what I want. Like I think that's gotten completely out of control. And it all comes back to like greedy corporations where it's like, well, if we can
They
get
just
people
want to
to
pay less. Yeah.
correct, yeah, and like outsource, it's like subsidizing their employees' pay to the customer.
Hmm.
Um, here's
I
another.
agree.
This is I don't think this is a hot take. I know I've talked about it to like other people, but remember in Game of Thrones when Tywin Lannister was eating little bitch ass Joffrey up and said,
Hmm.
"Any man who has to say I am the king is no true king." That shit applies to many areas of life. So like we all know. I'm gonna say the phrase, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, totally." But I'm such a nice guy, bitch.
Mm,
Mm, if you have to constantly say that you're a thing, you're not that thing, or you're really insecure and overcompensating about it. So, but I'm a nice guy. I'm not like other girls. Or God forbid somebody utters the phrase, "I'm an alpha." First
oh
of
yeah.
all, if we like if you're talking about like if an alpha is truly a thing, which I think in the scientific community it's been debunked that like it's not actually a thing. A true alpha would not need to say that they're the alpha. Just like a true king, little Joffrey, wouldn't have to say he was the king if people respected him and saw him as such.
Totally.
So when I hear people who are just very loud in proclaiming that they are a thing, um, I immediately get suspicious and like my feelers go out and it's like, but Tywin in the back of my head.
Sure. I totally agree with you. I'm not countering it. I'm going to add some uh nuance to it
Okay.
for all of the people out there that are like me and have massive imposter syndrome all the time. What Sarah is not saying, because I've had this happen to me with filmmaking and all sorts of things where I have been scared to label myself as, oh, I'm a director.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying at all.
It took me a very yeah, and I'm not saying you are. I'm just trying to add
Yeah.
a little nuance and try to pump people up and be like, "Oh no, if you're having trouble saying, 'Oh, I'm this,' you shouldn't be afraid to say that." You know, if that's what you've been working toward and that's what you're trying to do, and if you are having a hard time with that, try to start practicing it a little bit because it took me a long time to be like, "I'm a film director." And I still sometimes when I put on certain bios, I'll say filmmaker because it feels like an easier, kind of um, more casual term to
Mhm.
use than if you say I am a director and a producer. You know, like it feels different. And I use that to kind of be like, oh, well, I'm not, I'm just kind of a blah blah blah. And it's like, no, bitch, you made a whole feature film.
Yeah.
Like you directed a feature film, and I'm like getting that into my head was huge for me. So yeah, I don't think I know you're not saying that at
I
all.
would
I'm just trying
honestly
to
say,
like put
yeah.
that out there though for people.
I would honestly say if you have that self-doubt and you are hesitant to call yourself a thing, it makes you more of the thing.
Yeah,
Like it
yeah,
solidifies that you are the thing.
yeah.
It's the people that kind of are like overconfident and over loud and um I don't know how else to describe it, but like I know it when I see it.
Yo, for sure, for
But, like,
sure.
again, like, that whole "but I'm a nice guy" thing, I'm such
Oh
a
yeah, yeah,
nice
yeah. No,
guy.
no.
Like, that's the first thing I think of. It's like, if you have to constantly tell people and try to convince people that you're a nice person, like, I've never heard Adam say those words because he doesn't need to. He is a good, kind person in his heart. He doesn't need to, like, overcompensate and tell everyone, "But I'm
Right.
nice." Like, you just
It's the
are the thing.
actions.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the actions. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So that was kind of like my last. I wouldn't say that's a hot take, but like I don't know. It's just been something I've been stewing with and seeing more of it lately.
I have one more hot take. It's kind of a step back from what felt like a more appropriate, like, oh,
Okay.
let's but I'm just gonna, it's the only hot take I have left. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We have the spooky season upon us, so I guess it's appropriate in that respect. Y'all, I do not like Rocky Horror Picture Show, and no, I do not want to go to your Shadowcast performance of it. Period. Just don't want to.
What is a Shadowcast performance?
Oh, this is the big Rocky Horror fans. They'll get together and they'll play the movie, and then they will each be a character like on stage in front of the thing, and they'll like act it out and lip sync sort of thing to it while the movie is going
I
on.
wouldn't want to see that for any movie.
It's a trend within the Rocky Horror Picture Show
Yeah.
community. And I am at the intersection of music and film and all this stuff that I think I get hit with the invitations to those things a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
And no, I do not want to go. I do not want to go to your thing. I do not like the movie. I'm sorry. I'm probably not alt enough if I don't like Rocky Horror, but I don't like Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I don't think I need to elaborate. It's just not my jam. It's a cult classic. I will respect that about it, but
Beyond that, here's a Halloween hot take since we've kind of
Ooh.
brought up Halloween. You'll probably agree with me on this one, but pastel Halloween, I hate it. I hate and they had this last year a lot, like a lot of pastel Halloween decorations. No, bitch. Get that out of my face. Pastel is for Easter only. That's it.
It's like doing the sad beige children thing to Halloween if you put pastels on things.
I have
It's just like,
seen
why?
sad beige Halloween pretty much.
Mhm.
But this year I've seen like a lot of neon Halloween, and I can get on board with neon. I'll
That
fuck
feels
with
very
neon.
Beetlejuicy to me.
Yeah,
Like with
I like
neon.
that. And that's very appropriate with like Beetlejuice coming out. Speaking of sad beige, when I was at Disney, every store that we went into had like a sad beige Disney section. I shit you not. It was like
It's for those moms,
Yes.
you know them.
They were like housewares. It was like pots and stirring utensils and stuff, and it was like beige. I'm like, oh god, sad beige Disney.
beige. But my other Halloween hot take is that I do absolutely fuck with candy corn.
I feel like I'm indifferent on it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's a thing. I'd rather have candy corn than jelly beans.
I fuck with candy corn.
Yeah.
Is that it? I mean, we've been going for an hour
I
and a
know.
half.
Let me
now,
see if I missed
so-
anything. I was kind of jumping around my note.
I did have one that says don't ever ask me to go camping, but I think you covered that.
I hate camping.
Don't ever ask me anymore. The last time I went camping, I couldn't move properly for the next week after sleeping one time on or bring a full bed if that's
Yeah.
you know
know what it is?
options.
You know what? And I think it was with my ex. It's the glamorization of the struggle. I don't want the struggle love. I don't want that. You can go struggle by yourself. I am sleeping in my bed tonight. And honestly, the best part about going camping with him was we would always go to Cracker Barrel on the way home. I'm like,
Oh,
"Kid,
nice.
just gotta get through a Cracker Barrel, eat my pancakes,
Go.
get my little
Buy
gift
some
shop
random
tour."
thing.
Yeah. But I'm not here to glamorize the struggle. Okay. I've said this before. I was born in the exact right time with running water and indoor plumbing. And
Yep.
I'm not gonna like fantasize about living in the sticks, camping.
I
And
did
shit.
stay in yurts in Mongolia, and I have to say that was acceptable to me. There was more of a structure involved, and
Yeah.
the beds were platforms. You weren't on the floor.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind that. It was still like a hard surface. It wasn't great, but it was nothing like sleeping in a tent. It
Yeah.
was way more substantial than that. And that's
Yeah.
why they use those for glamping a lot of the time too, is because they're like solid, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, that I went through all my hot takes. You wanna
I
look at
think
the
I did
comments?
too. Yeah, nobody asked anything. I really, you know what I'm really excited about though? There were a lot of comments on what we were saying, and I think it'll be really interesting to look at the comments timeline and and to see what got everybody talking the most.
Yeah, let's see.
Like what actually popped up. And if you do want any opinions on anything, we'll give you a few minutes to drop a question in the comments if you would like while we're scrolling back through. I don't think I starred anything. They're all great comments, but um,
There's a lot.
yeah,
Let's see.
we got a lot of comments going for
John
sure.
said, "Mean spirited is just speaking the truth." Yeah, I know, but I have to admit that like some things are mean, and like I'm not gonna deny that you look good in your wedding pictures, but stop showboating. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. Or learn how to do it in a sneakier way that's
Correct.
not annoying to everybody.
Casually, Sandra, we're going back to Titanic. Frankly, I was surprised I was allowed to watch Titanic for that scene. I remember 2 VHSs. Yes, girl,
Oh,
the double VHS. At the time, the whole thing was so majestic. I think it's been a minute though. Yeah, it was very majestic.
the 2 VHSs.
Yeah.
That was that one, and I remember that movie, The English Patient, was also a 2 VHSer.
Oh,
Yep. For quality purposes, I'm sure, because, you know, I used to record all of the X-Files and all of Star Trek Voyager when they were airing on VHS, but you would do that long play, and the quality wasn't as good, but you could get like 8 episodes on that tape.
yeah. Okay, so lots of things about okay, I think this is when you were talking about Sam and Jack. Captain Swan said it would have ruined the shipping atmosphere. John
Mhm.
agreed it would have ruined it. 100% agree.
Yeah, we've got the right crew. I guarantee if I post that clip on socials, I'll get some
the
flame.
torches and pitchforks will come out.
I'll get flame for that, and then also from the Jack and Daniel shippers, who will
Oh
just
yeah,
completely be like, "No, it should have been Daniel anyway." It's like,
Michael Shank stands.
oh,
Scare
here's
me.
a hot take. Here's a hot take. As a queer person, stop making a gay relationship out of a male friendship that's just a deep friendship, please. We need to normalize seeing caring men care about each other, and they don't have to be gay.
Yeah,
Jack and Daniel's a great example of that in the first season when Daniel's like addicted to the sarcophagus and they have that scene. Great example of that. That should be normalized, that men can have feelings and other men can like console them and comfort them, and they don't have to be gay to do so.
yeah.
There's your hot take. Jack
I
and
agree.
Daniel. You're gonna come
Well,
for
and
me
that's
now.
honestly like you either have people who ship them when it's like this is just a friendship, or you have like the no homo people be like, ew, men who
Yeah,
care about each other, they must be gay. Like, no, like you can be
right.
fucking friends. Do you not have a friend? I don't know.
This is not, I mean, I get it's a fantasy thing. It's
Yeah,
fine. This is why it's a hot take. It's just something that I don't like that we see, and it's historic in like the Kirk Spock and every, you know, from the beginning. It's a historic thing, the slash shipping. But yeah, I do think it kind of I think if we had enough actual gay LGBTQ all sorts of representation, it wouldn't matter as much. And then
yeah,
we could just actually focus on showing a loving male friendship that is not gay and they're allowed to have feelings, you know. But I get that we're still in this place where we still have to hope for any crumb of queerness in our media. I get it. I get it. I'm there too. I
just a
feel you.
crumb. We
Just
need a
get
crumb of gay.
a little crumb of gay, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we have? I'm kind of just like,
I'm just freeballing while you're looking through those comments.
yeah. Okay, here's Mara. Mara, this you're close to the Stephen King. I've never read any Stephen King books. I've never told anyone, as I live in Maine and don't want to imagine the reactions of people. Yeah. That's like pretty
That-
blasphemous.
Yeah, or that's like me living in the South and being like, I don't like football. It's
Stick to the movies and the TV shows, Mara. They're better. I'll have to find some like excerpts of just how he describes women in general. And then just like some of his writing style, it seems so simple to me. Not that I know anything about writing a whole book, like, you know. But yeah,
Well, he's pretty. I mean, he churns them out, but at what cost?
correct.
I guess would be the thing.
Mara also hates the wedgie leggings. Thank you, girl. Let's see.
Oh, I think I don't remember what this was about, but I have this. Is it like that neurodivergent feeling of when you're about to do chores, then someone asks you to do so, the thing that you were about to do, so you no longer feel like doing it? That happens regularly in my life. I'll be getting up to like take the dishes in from dinner with Bonnie, and she'll be like, "Can you take the dishes into the kitchen?" I'll be like, "Well, now I fucking can't."
Yeah, as soon as
I
somebody
didn't
tells you to
realize
do the
that's
thing.
maybe a thing, but yeah.
A lot of people agree with me on professional sports. So I'm glad we're in like company. Growing up in New England is so annoying. Captain Swan says everyone would go nuts for the Patriots, Sox, and Celtics, and every single time I'm just like, STFU, I literally don't care. That's exactly how I feel. I just don't care. Tired of hearing about it. Tired of it. I've had it. Yeah, the Mara said the booby bracelets that were popular for middle school boys to wear. Yeah, because boobs.
Yeah, they were wearing it for breast cancer awareness. They're middle school boys.
Yeah,
we know why they're wearing it.
Yeah, so I think that kind of cover it. Yeah, Scott joined. It's no longer spooky season if it's drenched in happy pastels. Agree.
But Mara,
I just don't like pastel colors in general.
Mara, it's okay. Don't hide your purple pumpkin, please. Let
Enjoy
your purple
it.
pumpkin fly in the open.
Just like my shitty font stuff.
Correct. See,
like,
we can all like the things. Don't worry about it. But thanks for also saying something out loud. Don't like cower in a corner, please. We're not that mean. I promise.
This is all in good fun. Yeah. So I
like that you just all you had to do was turn and it was that font.
Yeah. But yeah, those are some hot takes. This was fun.
It was.
I love ranting.
Dare we call this the first annual or the first quarterly hot take? We should do this more often.
Yeah, I could listen. Let me like walk through a grocery store once and I could probably think of a whole new list.
Yep. So what do we have coming up? I think we're going to do an episode next weekend.
Really? Already?
We gotta try.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so we have Terrell coming up.
And then Terrell is on the 29th, y'all.
Yay.
We got to figure out what we want to talk about with her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because we could do a call for questions too. Should we do a call?
That's true.
We haven't done that
throw that banner up there.
Oh yeah, hold on. I have a banner for that. If you have any questions for Terrell Rothery out there, everyone, and we're seeing her in 2 weeks. You can email us 3freshshortpodcast@gmail.com. That's the word 3, not the number 3. It's scrolling along the bottom. But yes, we would welcome questions. We may or may not talk much about Stargate. In fact, we probably won't. But that doesn't mean if you don't have a Stargate question, feel free to shoot it off. We'll see what we can do. But I have a feeling, based on our other interactions with Terrell, that we won't be talking about much Stargate.
Yeah.
Just a little hint of a feeling, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited though. She's our
hilarious.
buddy.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
Love her. So yeah. Thanks for joining us for these hot takes. It felt good to get a little podding in, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Get the big sads when we go for a long time.
The sads are really annoying these days, y'all. If I haven't gotten back to you about something, I apologize. I'm going to try to this coming week.
Healthy boundaries. It's fine.
I just needed a break. I needed it some
Yeah.
time. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. Cool.
Cool.
I don't know. Do we close the iris? What do we do? The iris is probably pretty
Wait,
hot.
wait. Yeah.
It's
Hold on.
hyperheated right now. I've got my hand over the button. We're ready to go.
May the hot, spicy takes melt through the iris so that, what was it, Sokar can come through. I don't know where this is going, but that's what's happening. Bye.
There we go. Bye.